and welcome to the Scene Weekly podcast, where we politely disagree with teacups in hand and pinkies to the sky while we congratulate each other weekly as we hand off trophies we've not even earned, like 8-year-olds in Taekwondo. This week's episode is focused on horror comedies, with Shaun of the Dead doing its best against the pitchforks of Drag Me to Hell. So come join Jonathan and Stephen for another week of tricolor ribbons for everyone as we gleefully build each other up in a world completely full of safe spaces. We are Scene Weekly, and welcome to our world.
That's a different world than I'm used to right here.
It is.
Interesting. It seems like you're trying to point something out. Maybe a little
tricolor,
satire.
Tricolor ribbons for everybody. You get one, I get one.
I see what you're doing. I see what
we
you're
all
doing.
Get trophies. Yeah. Can you see the plant I have in the corner? I think I might be dying.
No, I can't see it, but it would be very apropos for this month that we're getting into of things that are dying and death and cobwebs and everything.
Does this look better this angle?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but the plant is the focal point now.
Well, that's probably for the better, I would imagine. It looks like you have some stuff here and there. Did you buy that specifically for this podcast, or was this in the closet?
Do I now? I mean, I have a spider problem in my apartment, and it's getting out of hand, to tell you the truth. And
I like how you have a little person skeleton.
Oh yeah, it was an old friend of mine that just kind of got trapped in a closet.
It's honestly even creepier if you have like a little person, because it's like, that's pretty twisted. Like you had a child that you just...
No, it wasn't a child. It wasn't a child. I'll allude to that. It's just a little person.
Is it? And your shirt? Is everything okay over there? Is that your own blood?
Do I have red on me?
It looks like something's going on. Yeah, it looks like. Can I ask?
I mean, it's been a rough week.
How is your job? And what did you clean something?
Well, I clean a lot of things all the time. I have to, cut ribeyes and steaks and things like that. And sometimes things get on you,
In the album cover to DMX's second album, he was in a bathtub of pig's blood, of actual like pig's blood. So I'm curious, is that real? And whose is it, if it is?
It's a lot of different people, to tell you the truth. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So we have probably in the next hour to figure out, and maybe not even then, if the authorities come searching for you, that we're going to be discussing two different movies of horror comedy horror, which I didn't even know really that it was an entire category or genre of film. I'm just so outside of the loop of, I guess, genres. And this is one that, I don't know if it's escaped me for a good reason, but we are nearing Halloween. And as this drops, I would imagine we've got another week until Halloween drops on us. But what is your experience with horror comedy? And it appears you enjoy it, even though somebody doesn't really like horror movies. You seem infected by the
I do enjoy horror comedy. I didn't know I did until semi recently. But yeah, I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't really dive into horror movies. I don't particularly enjoy them. So coming up on this month of topics where we discuss horror, it's going to take a little bit of. I'm going to have to dive in feet first and figure it out, because maybe at the end of this, this will get me all geared up to watch more horror movies. I don't know.
I like how you said, I'm going to dive in, but feet first.
Yeah, not head first. I don't know what's down there,
so I'm diving in, feet first.
Holding my nose.
Dive, bro. I feel like I get this every so often, where the Christmas movies can actually last for a bit of time, where I'll have like a week where I watch Harry Potter is notwithstanding, but I'll watch every single year all the 8 movies. And I'm actually rereading the books right now. Outstanding. my God, I don't want to go off on a random
Harry
tangent. So
Potter kick.
I want to cut this off immediately because I'll go crazy. But like, outstanding. J.K. Rowling just crushing. And Halloween is one of those that over the years I've I try my best and I'll watch like one movie. For example, I tried watching like how many Jasons or Friday the 13th in a row I could, and I made it to two, and then I was like, I can't do this for at least 10 years. It's like I'm done. Like
10 years. Wow.
but this time now having a podcast is like I've convinced myself in my head, I'm like, you gotta just suck it up and do it and find, similar to what you do. I'm finding in something that I hate. Generally, I'm like, she's got nice ears. Those ears, they're
That's
really,
the
really nice.
thing that
And
you gravitate towards,
the ears. And then it's just like, well, she does kind of have some earwax and some hair in the ears still. Nope, just
Nope.
nice lobes. Nice lobes. So I was trying to focus. But since doing that, and I'm getting ahead of ourselves for next week's podcast, I have thoroughly enjoyed them. But I in the same vein, I actually thoroughly, and well, for different reasons, the ratings will indicate differently, but like thoroughly enjoyed this. It wraps in my head because my wife has been saying, and I'm just going to get to your movie immediately, I guess. She's been saying, and I just have to start it with this, like, did it get in my mouth? For I don't know how many years, for like everything, whatever it might be. Did it get in my mouth? And she just would laugh hysterically. And it's strange enough, I actually don't think I've seen this entire movie at once.
Oh, wow.
Drag Me to Hell, ever. And it's definitely in piecemeal. But I've seen so many scenes so often that I guess I had convinced myself I had saw the whole movie together. I knew
Interesting.
everything that was I knew everything that was happening. But when they got to the seance, I was like, I don't actually think I've seen this scene at all. But everything else was like, yeah, like the garage. I remember that everything else. But the get in my mouth, did it get in my mouth? Is one of, in the context of it, is like one of the greatest lines in cinema history. It's so good. It's like my score on quote is like 95 or something. It's so good. And it's only for that one single quote.
That one quote from the bank teller
Yeah.
or the bank manager. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Did you know that your wife was quoting that movie this whole time,
Yeah,
or
I
okay.
did.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did know. Yeah. But anyway, horror comedy, not something I would have ever thought was a genre. Things, I guess everything can be a genre. And then looking up movies of like what actually horror comedy is and that entails, there's like a blend. Basically, you throw two jokes in and you got horror comedy.
There's some that lean a little bit more toward the comedy side, and then some that lean a little bit more towards the horror side.
What do you
And
think Drag Me to Hell does?
I think Drag Me to Hell leans a little bit more into the horror side, but the tone and the campiness of it gives it that kind of comedy edge to it. Whereas Shaun of the Dead, I think, definitely leans a lot more into the comedy side with the zombie horror elements to it and making kind of parody of said genre.
Yeah, there's only like a couple moments in Shaun of the Dead I would say that actually felt, for example, the bar scene at the very end where the zombies are surrounding them and they're like trying to figure things out. That was like one of the only times where you felt scared.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
and even then, you're just like, you're not that scared. But that woman is in the nails on the desk. It
yeah.
comes
Sylvia Ganush.
iterating itself. Not nice. I don't like that. Even the comedy scenes of Drag Me to Hell were, yeah, it wasn't pretty, I would say. And it reminded me of what's the I can't remember who's the actor in Drag Me to
Sam
Hell.
Raimi.
His dad is a philosopher. Anyway, nonetheless, fun times. Horror comedy. Would you consider Jeepers Creepers horror comedy?
Yeah, I mean that's another Justin Long movie who
Yeah,
is in Drag Me to Hell.
that's
I
the name I was
remember,
going for.
yeah, I remember I remember watching Jeepers Creepers at Q4 in West Georgia. I remember,
Yeah.
I think we all watched it together, and yeah, I mean, we were definitely laughing. So yeah, it's definitely a horror comedy that would fit into that vein. But still, I think a little bit more on the horror side, even more so than these two movies.
For the first 30 minutes, I was frightened, if memory serves. And then after, I was laughing. I was like, once you saw the creature, I was like, this is so dumb. It's the
Yeah.
dumbest thing ever. But anyway, who wants to go first? You want to go
I'll
first?
I'll I'll take the lead on this one. Yeah,
Drag me to hell, Steven.
I will definitely do that with this podcast. I'm going to drag you to hell here.
Okay.
Um, Drag Me to Hell is a 2009 horror comedy directed by Sam Raimi. You may know him from Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, this is him getting back to his horror roots after doing some of those blockbusters. It stars Alison Lohman, Justin Long. Budget is 30 million, box office 90
Wow.
million. Yeah, but apparently, from what I
Wow.
heard, Sam, that budget might be a little bit inflated. Like it might be more than 30 million because Sam Raimi put some of his own money to help with the special effects.
Mm.
I don't know if it really helped or not, but
Were they used?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, some of there's two taglines to this film. Um, here's the first one.
Yeah.
Christine Brown has a good job, a great boyfriend, and a bright future. But in 3 days, she's going to hell. And I mean, if you see that on a
It's funny.
poster,
That's
you're
like
like,
a synopsis, not a tagline.
yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
It's like, here's your trailer.
And the second tagline, this is a little bit shorter here. Even nice people can go to hell. So that's kind of the gist of what you see on the poster if you read the taglines. But this is the synopsis here. Drag Me to Hell follows Christine Brown. She's a loan officer who is trying to secure a promotion at her job. When she denies a loan extension to a mysterious elderly woman, the woman curses Christine in retaliation. As strange and terrifying events begin to unfold, Christine realizes she has been cursed to be dragged to hell in 3 days. Desperate to break this curse, she seeks help from a psychic and faces various supernatural challenges. The film blends horror and dark humor, culminating in a tense race against time as Christine battles to save her soul. Yeah, that's the basic synopsis. It starts off, we get kind of a beginner scene where we kind of understand the the
What
mysterious
is a
force at
beginner
work.
scene?
Like a kind of like a, what do you call those? A prologue, if you
Appetizer?
will, an
Okay.
appetizer. Yeah,
Got it.
where we kind of get the history of what this. I think the spirit in question is a lamia.
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 Did you actually know that a lamia is a boogie woman from Greek mythology?
I actually have a note on this. Yeah, it's synonymous with they seduced young men to satisfy their sexual appetite and fed on their flesh afterwards.
To my knowledge, it's a creature who stalked the countryside at nighttime for children to devour, so that they use this in Greece to get kids to go to bed.
I wonder if
But
it
maybe
worked.
there's a couple.
I think there
Uh,
is. Yeah,
that would work for me. Like, there's something that's going to devour you if you stay out past 8:30. Yeah, I'm in bed or like
I'm in bed by
freaking out.
8:15. Then I'm not going to
Yeah,
even
yeah.
chance it.
I like how this movie came out in 2009. You know, the real estate market ripped until 2007, and then in 2008 there's the collapse, and then they're like, uh, hell is going to be equivalent to you not providing some favors to one of your customers in terms of a loan, and AKA like clearly somebody was very angry. Maybe they didn't get a loan themselves, or their loan went bust, and they're writing a whole movie about it. But good timing of
Well, I
this.
think it was. I think it
Lots of
was more of.
anger.
It was a happy coincidence because this script was actually written in around 1992, and basically Sam Raimi was thinking of a storyline where somebody would have to do something morally, could be morally bad, of a loan officer not providing an extension on somebody's house, and they have to lose their house, and that's the morality tale that's in play. um, and yeah, it just so happened that the movie got made in around 2008, 2009. And apparently, funny enough, Sam Raimi wasn't going to direct it. He gave the script to Edgar Wright. Said, "Hey, I
Hmm,
want you. I saw Shaun of the Dead.
that's interesting.
I think you'd be good for this." And Edgar Wright looked at it. He said no because he was directing Hot Fuzz in the interim. So,
Good
but that
choice.
yeah, that would have been a interesting take on this movie if Edgar Wright did it. But
Yeah, I like it as it is, and to remove Hot Fuzz from our lives would be terrible. That'd be a terrible choice. We need Hot Fuzz.
we need Hot Fuzz, yeah, and The World's End, the trifecta there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, this movie, it definitely, like, I saw this movie in theaters in 2009. Surprisingly, like, I was not really into horror, but I saw this as kind of like my gateway because it was Sam Raimi, who I knew from Spider-Man, and I love those movies. So I was like a high school kid watching those at the time. So it's like, Sam Raimi horror movie seems like it's kind of funny, and that was like me dipping my toe into the horror genre, and I remember really enjoying it in the theater. Definitely got creeped out, but I wasn't as I wasn't scared at all this time around. This was a little bit more just gory and funny.
Did you take a date to this movie in 2009?
2009. I probably I was in Austin, Texas. So no, I was single at the time. So it was probably just me and some friends.
Oh, you don't remember who you went with? So what is, because like that to me would be one of, it's an interesting choice if you were to take a date to Drag Me to Hell, unless you were like one of those goth, you brought a goth chick there that seemed to be like really into it. My hair's growing out, by the way. Can you notice it now?
Looks good.
I was gonna get a
Maybe
haircut,
get
but I couldn't. The barber is closed today, so there's that. But nonetheless, I it made me think of if you were to bring a date to this movie, it would be, maybe it's a good thing if she's a goth chicken into this the horror comedy genre and get into her mouth later. Wink, wink.
yeah.
But I went on a date in probably 2005, and took Viggo Mortensen and took a girl to see A History of Violence.
It's, that stair scene. Well, that's not. I don't know if that's a good
It was,
a good date movie.
needless to say, she's not my wife now, and I don't know if it's because of that movie, but we went our separate ways. Just
What was the
I
conversation
don't even.
afterwards?
I just remember Vigo being in the movie, and I hadn't even seen the trailer. This is like one of those times. The conversation afterwards, we went to a steak and shake. I don't remember where we went, and it didn't revolve around this. It was a little weird, but I remember at one point she was like, "Can we leave? This is
During the movie.
yeah." I was like, let's just stick it out, see what happens, see how many other people he kills, and this vengeance is needed.
I like that movie.
Anyway, it's a great movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I just remember it being very slow. He's cool, and then somebody cuts him off in traffic effectively, and he's like, "No." It's like it's kind of a version of John Wick, where like, yeah, you got
I mean, he
you
was
killed
he
his
was like
dog.
he was a hitman killer that kind of built a new life and family, and nobody knew who he was
brought him
until
brought him back. But anyway,
yeah.
Drag Me to Hell. Terrific in its horror comedy glory. Again, I think my capacity because of this podcast has grown to withstand a few movies. But by the end of when Halloween comes, I think I'm going to be like, let's move to Thanksgiving movies, or let's move to anything else. Frankly, to be fair, I think we'll be there. So
Yeah.
here it is.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite scenes in this movie, obviously that car fight scene with her and Mrs. Ganoush.
Yeah,
I think that kind of like basically that set the tone of the movie of like what you're going to get into with like the was the ruler down the throat and just all the kind of goriness going on in there. That the staple eye being shut. Is
That
pretty
was
creepy
cool.
having. I mean, there's been one time where I've gotten in my car and there was somebody in the back seat that I didn't know about, and that freaked me
What?
out. Yeah,
When?
yeah,
How? Describe this. Go. Just you can't. You got to go full details now. This is the whole story.
yeah. So I was living in Denver, Colorado, and we had this. I was in this apartment complex, and a lot of places in Denver, the parking garage is underneath the building because it's snowy, it's cold, and everything like that. And I go to work pretty early.
This was
It was
winter time.
This was winter time,
I want all the
and
details. Go on.
yeah, and I get ready for work. It's a Sunday morning, and I go to work because restaurants don't close on Sundays. And I I get in my car, and I kind of put my bag on the side, and I kind of settle in, and I smell something. Right?
What? Wait.
Yeah,
What do you smell? What
I
is the
smell
something?
stale alcohol, like just stale
Okay.
alcohol.
Your
Right?
was your door unlocked when you got there?
Um, that's a good question. I This was my old
Probably
car,
press
so
the button.
I didn't have automatic locks. I would have to unlock every door.
Okay.
So I probably didn't have all my doors locked. I was in a parking garage. I thought it was
What
safe.
time of
Like
day?
this was like 8:30 in the morning, something like
Okay.
that.
Keep going, but give me more details.
So yeah, I smell stale alcohol. I'm like, what is that? And I just have this sense comes over me. I'm like I don't go into my apartment and like check behind my shower curtain or anything like that, but I had this sense of like I need to check my back seat,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
check my back seat, and there's this body just laying in my back seat. And I go, "What the fuck are you doing in here?" And this guy just pops up, and I like dart out of my car. I'm like shaking a little bit. Like, I'm like, "What the?" Like, one of the scariest moments of my life. And this guy kind of gets
Did
up,
you stab
open.
him?
I should have. God. Uh, he gets up, gets out of the car. He's kind of like zombie like or whatever like that. It's just like normal kind of like college dude, white guy, short brown hair, little scruff, not a homeless man. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing in my car? And he's like, dude, man, I am so sorry. My girlfriend locked me out of the apartment. I had no place to go, and your door was unlocked. And I'm like, okay, you need to go. So yeah, it was just a drunk guy in the back of my car.
What was his
Uh,
name?
I didn't get his name. I didn't do
Did you
any
get
of
his
that. No.
business card?
Business card? I don't think he had one. Drunk
Man, if
guy?
you're watching, if you ever watch this, I want to interview you. I want to get to know you. I want to see what happened that night. And if it was your ex, that we got to know all of the details. What did he look like? How tall was he? What was his weight? What was he wearing?
He was kind of slim. I mean, jeans, button down, no glasses, short hair, smelled like alcohol.
Had no friends to call, no
He
phone.
said
Maybe
he didn't
lost
have
his
a
phone.
phone. He said his phone was dead or lost or something like that. Yeah.
His girlfriend locked him out.
I thought I was going to get strangled. Like, I thought something bad was going to happen to me.
Yeah, that's a problem. The strangulation, knowing some BJJ, with the headrest, because if you just get that rear naked choke in, that's a wrap. It's a hard one. It's hard to fight the hands when you got a something like that. I
So,
don't
yeah,
know what
that's
I would
my.
do. That would be depending on if I had my daughter with me. I might go insane, insane, like absolutely, because like there would be me in the driver's seat, of course, daughter, and then that person would have to be in the back, so they'd be close to her. Yeah, I would. It would not be good. Well, it'd be kind of funny actually. Now that I think about it, I mean, I immediately get twisted and it's weird here, but if this happened to me, because like you'd have to like press the button to open up the trunk, and then you know how it's kind of slow. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
there'd be this weird moment of like anticipation, just ripping them out of the trunk. Yeah, I think I'd freak out.
Would you
I'd
get
freak
violent?
out. I would
Would you turn into Vigo Mortensen?
probably do as you did. I would definitely be out of the car very quickly, and I'm just glad I know some BJJ now, because I would single leg the person if they came even remotely close to me, and then I would get full mounts or take their back and just what's going on here? What are you doing? Did they have an
So you
alcohol
would,
bottle with them? Did they get drunk while in the back seat? Because that would be even cooler.
I
Be
don't
like,
think so.
oh, I'm here. Just that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Uh,
Start listing
that's
my
scarier. Honestly, that scene is scarier than both of these movies combined, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was real life. So
Speaking of scary, I have a couple quotes from the movie that made this very memorable for me, and not the quotes themselves from the movie, but it's quotes from my wife. It's a joy to watch movies with her. Sometimes she goes in and out. She needs her own like Twitter and her quotes, and I started a few of them. I received a bunch of them, but nonetheless, I don't know if this is funny, but it was just hilarious to me. And she heard, was it ayudame, Spanish for is it help me, or that I remember
ayúdame, ayúdame, ayúdame.
ayudame, sorry.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing she heard it from also another movie and she likes it when people are in danger during movies, like especially when people randomly get hit by cars. For
Oh
example,
wow.
Meet Joe Black is like, that scene is hilarious to her. Or
It's
like
like,
when
yeah, the start of the movie.
models are like walking down the runway and like just like are falling, she'll watch this in hysterics and just like crying in laughter. She's a weird person, but nonetheless, she was laughing. She's like, uh ayúdame. She's like, oh, I remember that from Spanish when I was in 10th grade. I'm like, what is happening right now? But there's another quote that actually she said, it was the garage scene and the setup of it. And she says these things out loud. And I wonder if, like, there's a processing part of her brain that is not filtering or is just allowing it to go out. And she doesn't understand what she's saying. But she, in a very literal manner, she's like, the garage scene when it's getting scary and she's off the elevator. Clearly, this is a scary scene because it's dark and it's in the garage. Our actual, our literal actual words. So it's like she's a robot almost, and be like, "This is supposed to be scary. Yes, it's dark. Yes, there's a garage. This is a scary scene." And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, do you have to prep yourself to watch movies to be like, okay, it's scary now. This is how you should act when it's scary. And I'm wondering, do you ever do this? Because I don't. I'm never. It's just something
No.
that you watch naturally in a movie and you're like, oh, scary scene. You don't think, this is a scary scene, I think.
Some people have to get their minds prepped for what might happen. I guess I don't know, but yeah, I just kind of roll with it, and
Yeah, I don't know.
that's funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
what
yeah, what is there really to say about this movie? Now that I think about it.
I think it's horrific when a boss holds a job over your head, and you have to
Oh my
fight
god.
between two people like Stu. Fuck Stu. He's new. He's a kiss ass buying Laker tickets. Come on.
I don't like Stu. Stu's a dick. He has Stu done anything since? You know, like people in movies sometimes, for example, like Joffrey from
Game of
what is the
Thrones.
Game of Thrones, basically the hate he got for that role. Like somebody who's so good at a role or so bad, you just begin to
But they had
like
to
hate
quit
them.
acting. They're like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Like Hayden Christensen. He's like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm out of this game like forever. But that's got to be so tough, especially for like just somebody who's trying to make it, and they take this role and they're like, this, I'll be an asshole. Like, who cares? But it's almost as if you're just like a mild asshole. If you go too asshole, it's like Jack Nicholson can be an asshole, and he's just like, nobody's
He's
gonna
over the
care at
top
all.
asshole. Yeah.
Yeah. If you be that mid asshole, that mid tier asshole, um, there's sometimes you can't come back. But I wonder what Stu has done since. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was annoying. Like I want him to lose, and then like it's gonna carry over his next movie. Like, fuck Stu, man, you're still Stu. But yeah, I didn't like Stu either. And anyway, and I wanted him. At the very end, I wanted him to get the demon. I was like, yeah. Lamia. I was like, you deserve to be dragged to hell for whatever reason. Um,
I I think this movie did well with the ending. I think it
yeah,
crushed because you think that Sam Raimi is going to have this like nice little happy ending. Oh, everybody's fine, blah 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 blah. But no, she's getting dragged to hell. It says it in the title, "Drag Me
yeah,
to Hell." Like, and
yeah.
that's kind of what Sam Raimi said. He's like, I'm gonna do this thing where I'm gonna like the original title of this movie was Cursed, and they changed it. He's like, I'm gonna kind of play with this and say this movie's going to be Drag Me to Hell, and that's what you're going to get at the very end of the movie. Like, I'm not going to pull the rug out from under you. That's what you're going to get. So I love that.
Tricolor ribbons for all of us. That's nice. So, have you ever had your palm read or been to a psychic?
No, actually, I haven't. I've
Oh,
never done
really?
that. Yeah,
Why did you laugh like you were responding? You did.
I was thinking about just the scene in the movie where they're basically walking outside and she like just turns and she's at the psychic place and just lucky enough like, oh, I'm right here at a psychic after I got cursed, I'm going to go inside and get my palm read and figure
Oh
this
yeah.
out.
I mean that's
How
horror comedy at its best, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's just the happy coincidence right there as well. But no, trying to think. I've never gotten my palm read at a psychic or anything like that. What about you?
I haven't. I was hoping that you would say you had because I had a lot of questions. But I have um in the some parts of Korean culture likes to go to psychics. They're not called psychics, but they're basically friends with they're psychics, and they'll tell you your future and things of that nature. There's always like this intermediary to some extent, like, oh, we have to schedule you, and like we're 6 months booked basically, and then like makes it more of an allure, and then like they're right, one time, and they're like, well, my sister, they told us about this, and it actually came true, so like they're hanging their hat on this one anecdotal evidence, and if you understand anything to do with psychics, I mean, it's pretty soft reading is pretty easy, but I've never been, and I it would be interesting to actually go, because I think a good psychic has very good social skills, and be interesting to see it live. To be fair, but the
Yeah.
palm reading would be cool too. I
What if
think.
you have like for me, for instance, I had hand surgery, so I have a big scar on my palm. I don't know if you can see it right here,
I
but
can, yeah,
yeah. I wonder if that plays into the palm reading at all. Like, is something else going to
maybe.
happen to me? I
It
don't know.
appears that you have had a hand injury. You're good.
You're very
You're
good.
good.
Yeah.
Um, so what is hell to you? So if you were to actually go to hell, what do you think it would be for you?
Um, I saw this stand up comedian, and this is kind of what made me think. You asking this question, he was basically like, "Yeah, hell, like it's a bunch of torture and things like that, but like I imagine there should be like every 20 minutes everybody gets a break and gets to go into a break room and gets to talk about what they've been suffering from. Like
Yeah,
you're drinking the boiling water. Hey, what have you been up to? Oh man, they just sit 1,000 mini crabs and they're just biting all over me. Oh, that sounds awful, man. And just
yeah,
you have to have that like that 20 minutes of describing your suffering to other people to make it more hell. A lot more funnier than how I presented it, but you get the gist. Uh, I don't know. Hell, I would think it's more of like solitary confinement where you're just like just nothing and you're just constantly losing your mind.
yeah. That's a tough one. You'd have to create your own identity again. To me, yeah, it's a little of that, but I'm just thinking like of the worst things in types of pain, I guess, to some extent. I've never been burned to death, but that throbbing that you like
You
pick up,
haven't
yeah,
really?
yeah.
That's surprising. I wouldn't have that
I
on your bingo card.
yeah. Look at my hand. I mean, you should have read my palm by now. Not going to be burned to death, or hasn't been. But I
Hasn't
had
been.
claustrophobia. When I see, even thinking about it, it just fucking freaks me out. Like I'm not scared of heights on pretty much any level. I actually enjoy heights. It's pretty fun to be up high and be free. But The entire opposite is true of those human beings that go into caves and like they have to get.
Spelunking.
No, not like that. That seems like a joy. Like the little tight little holes and just squeezing through, and then like when they get there, oh god, it makes me sick thinking about it. And then when they get there, it like opens up to this like, I don't know, a cavern like the size of this couch. And you're like, this is great, and you're hanging out with like three people there, huddled. This has never been seen by anyone ever. And then I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna get out? What if it rains? Like, what? It took you 6 hours to get there. Oh, all of that is just awful, man. And I remember there's a story of a guy that I actually got trapped, like up, like basically did that in this tight cavern and then just died. And I think of him each time I think of hell, of that being an app. Like, I was in DC recently, last year in March, or this year in March, and I had to go in. I didn't have to go in, I guess, but there's like a 3-story children's like gym inside, and like they have like these tunnels and stuff that you can like. It's just this wild tunnel. Basically, it's 3 stories or 2 stories, and I went in to see if my daughter was okay because she didn't come out in a while, and it was for children. And there was like a moment where I was like, "This is really tight," and then like kids are like going in and out, and I was like, "I think I just need to like sit down and be like, I got to take a breather." Okay, I'm all
It's not
right.
made for your size, man.
All right.
Discovery zones,
That
things like that. Yeah.
that is hell to me. And if you were to do that and add the additional like solitary confinement, yeah, that would suck, man. And then you could, yeah, get some crabs. Wouldn't really affect me too much.
If
Just
they were nibbling at you,
little
you
drops
know.
of acid. That seems like it would be terrible. Yeah, and then you would have like a constant like some sort of noise that would be not pretty. That would be hell for me. Yeah,
Would you have passed off the button to somebody else? Like, you got 3 days, man. Got to pass it off, or it's yours. And
I would have
you're gonna
no
be dragged.
issues finding somebody to pass that button off to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you
Yeah,
sleep well at night?
yeah, I wouldn't care. Yeah, because they, in my opinion, would deserve it. Can't say any names, but you know who you are. I may have to drive to the person, but nonetheless, it's nobody
She
in my.
should have gave it to Stu right away. Like, why? Like, Stu needs it. Just give it to him.
I knew immediately as well that envelope. I mean, the whole setup was pretty hilarious. Like the envelope falls on the ground. It's like clearly there's going to be a mix up here. Gonna be a mix up. It's not what you think. She's going to hell. But I don't know what. I mean, I get like nervous thinking about like claustrophobia. I don't
I like it.
I don't like underground. You like going in caves underground, like tight places?
I always liked it when I was a kid. Yeah, we would even like. I remember when I was in New Hampshire, we'd crawl through like sewers and things like that, and like even when it snowed, we'd build like these little snow tunnels and like crawl through those.
I did all of that. I had many tunnels under the ground, and that was fine. I'm talking like tight, like the ones that you have to like. You could barely move your arm out to do anything. Anyway, enough about that. Have you ever felt like you were haunted besides the guy in your back seat? Or do you believe in ghosts? How about that? We'll start. Do you believe in ghosts?
I I do. I think that there is there. I think there's ghosts in the world, or forces, if you want to say. I don't know what you want to call them.
Yeah.
Energy, basically, that's left over, um, and there's definitely stories and things like that. But it's very, there's some concrete things that people have seen and witnessed. But I do believe in ghosts. What about you?
If I don't know, if you were leftover energetic energy of an entity, aka a ghost, who would you haunt? Because I
Uh,
think I would love to fuck with all of my friends.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be more like Casper. I feel like, um, the friendly ghost. Trying to help you out, give you high fives, all those
Now,
things.
how are you gonna give a high five? Just going on right through it. I think I would just try to mess with people. Yeah. And I understand why a ghost would be a ghost, because if you have the power to do it, it'd be pretty fun. Anyway, did you know the mud in the cemetery scene is made out of Oreo cookies? Oreo cookie dye?
Yeah, I read that. I wonder if like any got in her mouth. Did it get in my mouth?
That scene, not the getting in my mouth scene, but the maggot scene, for example, which did get in her mouth, is horrendous. My God, I can't imagine. I remember like before I even watched the movie or even that scene, I heard about it, and I don't believe she was told that was going to happen to her. It just like happened. They're like, oh my God, like what? But
Yeah,
the whole
they wanted to get the truest expression out of her acting as possible because I don't think she's the best actress out there. Um, she hasn't
she's
really been in much.
terrible.
She hasn't been in much since. I think she was in Big Fish, um, but yeah, I think she went and started a family. I mean, good to her. I
Yeah,
think this movie kind of broke her because she
it
did
would.
like all of her own physical stunts and things like that.
Yeah, they said it was tough on her. I think for the role was actually made well for her to some extent because it had a level of cheese to it that horror comedy does. And so I think it lends itself to somebody who can't necessarily have the best experience in acting. But I did think throughout this movie, no offense, she wasn't a very good actress. It's like this is that's really poorly executed. But here I am, not acting in any movies. So but it was an interesting one. I think I'm done with it for a while. I like the clips of this movie better than I probably like the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my like I just did like favorite scenes was the car fight scene, the dinner scene, the final scene, and the seance scene. Those were the ones that I enjoyed. I liked seeing the people or the goat possessed by the lamia,
That was
and
great.
I think the best quotes from the movie, besides the "Did this get in my mouth?" was from that, where the goat says, "You tricked me, you black-hearted whore, you bitch or
Yeah.
bitch." And then when the guy was possessed, he's like, "I don't want your cat, you dirty pork queen." Like just great lines
Awesome.
of
Awesome
cinema.
lines. And the build up to that, I was so excited when they brought the goat out. I was like, dude, like some hilarious shit's about to go down for sure. Like 100%. There's no way this movie is like led up to here without something absolutely ridiculous about to happen. I was elated when the goat like just
Started
got hooked up.
talking.
Not no before then when they were just like we got to sacrifice the goat and I was like it's gonna get inside the goat and the goat's just gonna do some random shit. I don't know what, but I'm excited. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I could probably go without watching this. Probably again ever ever. Yeah.
Yeah, just see clips every now and then when you turn the channel up there. Drag Me to Hell. Cool, seen it.
Yeah. But anyway, Shaun of the Dead, which I would say is a very different movie. I would definitely say on the comedy side of things. It's I haven't seen this, but I think for the second time, strangely enough. I guess it's not one
Really?
that you can. Yeah. 100 Minutes, Edgar Wright, as we were talking about previously, year of 2004, rated R, horror comedy, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, budget of 6, box office of 40. The synopsis, if you haven't seen it, first of all, you should stop watching this podcast and subscribe to the podcast, by the way. But Shaun, Shaun, is a 30-something loser with a dull, easy existence. When he's not working at the electronics store, he lives with his slovenly best friend Ed in a small flat on the outskirts of London. The only unpredictable element in his life is his girlfriend Liz, who wishes desperately for Shaun to grow up and be a man. When the town is inexplicably overrun with zombies, are they zombies? Are they? Never really know, right?
Don't say the Z word.
Yeah. Shaun must rise to the occasion and protect both Liz and his mother. And I just have to say, off the bat, I don't know. I've never met a Shaun, Shaun.
I
Have
think it's
you?
a British thing, right? Maybe
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
know, I know a lot of Brits, but I've never met a Shaun. So there's that. secondly, what a great introduction to this movie. Not, I mean, just an intro, but the first bit, I really enjoy, and I like to some extent. I like and also dislike when I say this out loud. I really like it when there's long shots of movies that do well. Like for example, Birdman, I'm a big fan of. Um, any Tarkovsky. I mean, he has like 7, 8 minutes that he'll just like straight. Sometimes 13 even, where it's like it's like eating a pie almost to some extent, or just reading like 3 chapters of a book. There's so much to dissect. But and I would say the very beginning of this movie, or the intro with him going outside and there being what seems to be the Z words, and that moment where, of course, there's a complete slight on the populace of the world, that we're so blind and we're basically now walking zombies ourselves, and so slow to do things and dumb and things of that nature. I mean, it's clear that that they're trying to make that make it about us, but he has no idea what's going on, no clue. But there's like literal zombies walking around, and he goes to get his drink, and nothing affects him. But the whole scene of him like grabbing the gate, leaving and going, that was one take, which was I love long takes like that, and I was hooked. And I haven't seen this in a while, but I was hooked from that point on. I was like, oh, where does this go? This is amazing. And British
Yeah,
humor is the absolute greatest.
Yeah, I even read like when the cinematographer like was doing this, he was telling Edgar Wright, he's like, there's no way that you're going to keep this. You're going to cut the scene. And he's like, just bear with me. Like, I think we got something here, and they did definitely.
I love just throughout of, I don't know what it is, just not explaining the zombie evasion. Like we don't know why, where they came from,
Doesn't matter.
who
Doesn't
got
matter.
infected first. Nobody gives a flying shit about what's happening. It's just the fact of, on screen, they're the slowest movers in existence, and I love that. I don't know why. I just love it. Like there's no explanation, because every single movie of a zombie invasion, that's the first question. Where does it? Who's patient? We're doing it now. COVID still, like, who's patient zero? And then like nothing is explained. And even when it gets on like public broadcasts, it's like it gets turned off, or the topic gets immediately changed, or a zombie actually comes and eats somebody. But I just thought that was funny throughout.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. And the slow, it's funny because the slow moving zombies are such a distinct difference of what came before, just right before with 28 Days Later and things like that, of just like these fast moving zombies. That was like the kind of new thing, the zombie renaissance. And then no, we're gonna take it back and slow these zombies down a bit. And I just said, yeah, brilliant, love it.
Slow them down a bit. Boy, does it get slowed down a bit. I like how, though, like throughout the whole movie, they're just you're taking the dumbest people, dull, I should say, of Shaun and his friend group, which,
Ed, yeah.
yeah, most of the movie, like, these people have known each other for a long period of time, actually, and have carried over with various projects throughout the years. But a lot of the movie is fashioned after many parts of their own lives in real life. Like, for example, the pub owners have the same name as their local
Oh,
pub.
really?
Yeah, and like some of the sandwiches like that they were talking about were the local sandwiches to their pub that they used to be offered, and just like a lot of like things I would never clearly know, but were offered up, I guess, in the shooting of it, and the people being interviewed and talking about it themselves. But I like the little tidbits of trivia here and there. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but it probably will be another 10 years to do that.
Did you
I'll have to,
did you ever see their Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg's TV show Spaced?
no, that's,
Um,
I think that came out in the
There's an
90s, I
episode called
believe.
Art, yeah, that they kind of got inspiration for this film from doing that episode where they were like playing Resident Evil, and they're like, hey, what if a zombie apocalypse happened, but like these two losers didn't even know what was going on,
It's
and
great.
that's the genesis of the idea.
Yeah, and Shaun of the Dead, what a terrific name. They had to actually wait, I believe, because Dawn of the Dead was coming out that same year, and they had to wait a couple months to release. But I think the waiting was a good move. Um, have you ever said cunt?
There's a couple of words in this movie that I've never said.
What are the rest?
Uh, but yeah, that's not a word that is usually spoken by me. No, I've never said it. Actually, never said the word.
Never said it? Wow. I've said it. I have a lot of English friends. Lots. And I say it, I guess I mostly say it. No, it's transferred over. I've said it a fair amount, but it's always in like a affectionate type of way, like you're a good cunt. You know, the Aussies in New Zealand, there's like Israel Adesanya, former middleweight champ of the world, fantastic, funny guy. Good cunt. You're a good cunt. You know, it's a
Yeah, and I see it. I see it in that respect. It's just that that word is not part of my. I don't know it in that way, or have
got it.
friends that say it in that way. So
I tried to explain it to shout out Sifu, which I've given you thousands of shout outs at this point. My professor in BJJ, I tried to explain it to him what it was, and there were other people in the gym with us, and I was like, "Hey man, like you ever heard of the word cunt because of this movie?" But no, he's from Ecuador. He's like, "No, I've never heard anyone say that." And then he's like, I spelled it for him. I was like, "Oh, interesting." He's like, "What does it mean?" It was kind of like the spelling bee, and then I told him, and I was like, "But dude, you can't say it." He's like, "Why can't I say cunt?" And I was like, "Oh man, you can't. It's just you can't say cunt. Like it's just you can't do it, man. It's like the worst word in the English language. And if you were just going spouting off that word in a children's class, all of the parents are going to be like, "You're out. Like you just can't say it." It's like okay. But he'll be on the podcast in a second. We'll have to pin this and ask him about the word cunt. But it's something that actually gets thrown around and outside of this country, but inside of this country does not. And in this movie, it gets tossed around, which I appreciate. I don't think words shouldn't be able to hurt you. You know, your feelings. Come on, get over it.
and if you're doing it in a friendly gesture way, like serving some beers. Hey, here's you're gonna get some beers, yeah, whatever. That's it's their
Yeah,
prerogative.
I liked how this movie was shot in many ways like a video game. Like if you're actually like playing a very slow like Resident Evil, I guess would actually be a good explanation, but a very slow version of that. There's so many instances where I just thought like the zombies coming and you kind of like in the old school video games, I should say, where you had enough time to think through what you're going to do, plan of action, and then actually execute. Whereas now I think video games are just like I don't know. They're so complicated, to be honest. I sound like the old person now. I'm saying this
Yeah, you
aloud. Like
do.
why can't we go back to Pong, boys? Pong was where it's at. You just had one paddle and a ball. You moved it.
Pac-Man was pretty good too.
I'm done. Uh, but it just felt like a video game. And it was lovely. I have actually something to say. I'm gonna have to read this. When Shaun he was exiting the corner shop, which turned into a radio station playing songs from Indian movies. The song stops and a newscaster begins speaking in Hindi, right? And so the content of the news, actually, I did not know this. I had to pick this up on the trivia after, which translated quite literally into in English: "People are waking up from their graves." And I was like, that actually explains the movie better than anything that you've seen in the movie. And I didn't get it because I don't speak Hindi. I was like, oh wow, like kind of zombie like. It's like so detailed. But I would imagine the people that speak Hindi were like, oh yeah, this is valuable information. But I was like, it's so valuable to most people not watching it, or not understanding it. But anyway, I love the
I liked
editing.
no, the editing was great. Like even like in the script, it says like, you know, uh Sean brushes teeth, opens drawer, gets knife out, spreads toast, like boom, 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 boom. And it's just it's very, very creative. Even like the script of like how they layer sayings and jokes and how they come back, near the end of the film, that kind
Yeah,
of tie together. Um, and kind of even means so much more, like even just the fart joke of like, I'm sorry, Sean. You know, I'm really sorry. But yeah, I thought just they knew how to play up the comedy and the parodied nature of making a zombie movie.
Could you
Fantastic.
shoot your
Even
mom?
if she turned it, yeah, if she turned into a zombie and the eyes
How
glazed over,
how long does it take you? Because there's a moment where like, is she a zombie? I don't know. How long would it take you to be like, chicken boom? You're done, mom.
yeah, I think you wait for the eyes to glaze over, then you know she's totally gone, right?
What if she, just took a little puff, and then you look at her and you're like, bloodshot eyes. Boo! Oh, mom, you were just high. Damn it! Not
I
again.
mean, she does have a big bite mark on her wrist, or like her whole arm
Oh,
is like pretty much gone. So you know you're doing
yeah.
her a favor at that point, right?
Are you? I don't know. So how quickly? So the glazed over eyes would do it. You'd have to be pretty close to her. You think you would shoot her in the head?
I mean, that's what solves the problem, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, I could definitely take out my mom. Sorry, mom, but she's got
Well,
to go.
that's the
Yeah,
thing. This is my rationale. It's not my mom anymore. It's a zombie.
yeah, that's what we'd have to tell ourselves. I mean, it is your mom, it's just somebody who's infected. That's all. Like the
I
spiders
mean,
that get infected with the cordyceps mushrooms. Have you ever seen those clips? You know what I'm even talking about? The spiders that get infected with cordyceps. Do you know cordyceps mushrooms? First of all,
yeah, I've seen The Last of Us. I've even played the video game.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that would be, still a spider, but nonetheless, there's two things I really enjoyed from this movie. A thousand things actually, but I just liked it because our friend old Milt has like a buck hunter game, and it just felt like this zombie people the zombies getting taken out by the rifle. That just felt like that. It was awesome, just like going through the streets and just shooting all these zombies. My second favorite, actually my first favorite, was them not being zombies but acting like zombies.
yeah. Them having to walk through the streets and try to get to the bar. That's the best way. Is just blend in.
That's
I
what
mean,
you
could you?
do trying to get to a bar if you're wasted. I mean, that's the illusions here are infinite. But do you think it's because like to me the slow moving zombies will eventually get you, and it's kind of that fear of having somebody in your back seat when you're getting into a car. That's constantly going to be there, that fear, which is a very tangible thing. Whereas World War Z or 28 Days Later, the fear is very quick and short, but you're going to be a zombie in like 6 seconds opposed to like 8 hours and 6 seconds. You just don't know when, let's say, because eventually, they're going to take over. To me, I almost think this is scarier. It's like, yeah, you can run and you can go hide. These motherfuckers are going to get you eventually. And that around every corner, if you make that one single mistake, you're going to think how dumb you are actually, like after it happens as well. The split second you have between realizing you're going to be a zombie and it settling in. I think it's more fearful. Like I would be more scared, I think, than having
Just
these
know it.
really fast zombies chasing you and you're running and then like you trip and fall and then immediately you're dead and eaten. It's scarier. It's scarier on scene, I would say, seeing a fast zombie. But I think being in person with these slow moving zombies, just having to deal with these, I don't know, pinball between different zombies, would be tough. I wouldn't like
It's
it either
just
way.
the mass horde will get you no matter what. Until I mean, there was a Dos Ex Machina in this film uh, that showed up. You know,
I like I like the rant, and they're not cameos per se, but I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my toes. Terrible singing. Is that Love Actually, or is that music and lyrics? Whoever did that song, which is terrific.
I don't know, but
It's
I do
Love
love
Actually. Love Actually.
I,
Who is that character?
what
But he's in this movie.
one of the best Bill Nye. One of the best scenes in this movie is the Queen scene
Oh
with the
yeah, yeah,
music.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the pool sticks. And I
Yeah.
mean, they're just hitting him to the beat of the song.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it just can't get better than that. Like that's the high point of this movie for me. It's just like you're just having so much fun watching this and vibing along with these characters. Yeah,
What's
I
your
mean,
favorite Queen song?
Bohemian Rhapsody, gotta be.
Yeah. It's funny when we talk about horror flicks or movies that like aren't complex. We're like, it just goes short. It's like, what is there to talk about? They
I
all
I
died, okay? Did it get in my mouth? All right.
I do
What else you got? I don't
I
know.
do, I do like near at the end of this film, they show life after zombies, and like they've kind of commodified zombies on game shows and
Yeah.
turn zombies into pushing shopping carts. I had to push. That was one of my first jobs, was pushing shopping carts in a parking lot, and I was not a zombie. Um, but yeah, like
Where did you
I
work
mean,
to do this?
I got hired for Sam's Club. It was Sam's Club is considered a warehouse, and you have to be 18 to actually work inside the warehouse. So they hired 17-year-olds to work outside and push carts.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the whole thing. Yeah.
I had to do that in Florida at Publix. Worked at Publix for a number of years, and that was my third job. And my first was washing coffee pots when I was like 12 or something. Terrible job.
For who?
Benny Coffee. Shout out Benny. I think you're still around. Benny Coffee. Yeah. It was terrific. What? Maybe I shouldn't call him out. I don't think I was supposed to be working at the time. Not Benny Coffee. Just cancel that. There was like a local coffee place in Florida. Delicious coffee from recollection. But
Yeah.
yeah, I worked there a
Child labor.
couple of years, and yeah, and went from there to Chick-fil-A. Worked at Chick-fil-A
You
for
get
I want to
Sundays off.
say
That's nice.
a full year. Yeah, yeah. I should have gotten diabetes eating there, and because like you could eat basically like a proper meal for free, and then you can get like all the types of sauces. Polynesian sauce is my favorite. I think yours is like some disgusting one, and like the Polynesian sauce, I would get like 4 or 5, and get like the waffle fries and just dunk it every time I used to work. And looking back, that is disgusting. Like really
It's a lot
disgusting.
of sugar in that Polynesian sauce. I'm a honey
It's all
mustard guy. I like
sugar.
the honey mustard.
Yeah, I mean, no, no. I mean, you're a chef and all, but like honey mustard is it's blue cheese. You go fuck your mother. So anyway, I went to Publix after that, where I had to push carts as well in the hot sun on the asphalt of Florida. Terrible. It's bad.
Did you have a machine to help you push carts? Because all I had
No,
was a rope. I just had a
no,
rope and
I
just
didn't have
pulled
a
them.
rope. I didn't have a rope. I had nothing. I had shopping carts, and they got pushed by my arms. And I remember after each time, you had 30-minute segments, and then after the 30-minute segment, I would just go into the freezer, like just to hang out in the
Cool
freezer.
off.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not a very wise thing to do. Never got sick because of it, but nonetheless, what are your thoughts on ratings?
Oh, we're on to ratings now, huh?
I don't know. I don't have much else to say. I will. I mean, I guess I will say this: with most zombie movies, the it's pretty short, sweet. The dialogue was terrific. I would say though, but I like the way it was shot. It was edited very nicely. You can't make too many of these in terms of the zombie world of going back. Like, how many more Shaun of the Deads can you make? It's like there's one, not many, but nonetheless, it was fun. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it in this lovely month of October.
Spooky season.
How are we gonna do ratings? So, drag me to hell. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Drag Me to Hell's not a great movie, but I had fun with it. I am surprised at the. I didn't even give the Rotten Tomatoes rating on this. I think it was like 92% or something like that.
Hi. I was shocked.
Yeah, yeah. My
Shocked.
rating's not. I think the campiness of it is what sells it, and the campiness of it also brings my score down a little bit because it's just not. It's not. Uh, it's not a great movie. Is it a good movie? I don't know. Performance not that great. I did like the audio. I did like the directing. I did like the some of the quotes. 76.65 for Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, I actually rated it myself, and then looked at the Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, this can't be right. I looked at it on my phone, and then I opened up a computer, and I was like, there is no way. And then I opened up on the actual Rotten Tomatoes site, and I was like, how is this possible? Like I don't I don't know. I was trying to justify it, and I was like, I can't even. Whatever.
It's an
Can't
enjoyable
justify it.
movie, so I can see
Sure, but
like the return to form for Sam Raimi, like coming back to his horror roots. I think critics like that. I don't know.
yeah, the performance throughout was it was just bad. It was dismal. I gave it an excellent 95 for the quote. Just terrific. I say it all the time, but pretty much everything else, the score and the audio, I don't want to say I gave it a high score, but to me it was on the lower end, on the 68.5 end of the spectrum. I just was like, this, yeah, it's. I don't need to watch this again, pretty much ever. Yeah, I'm good. Shaun of the Dead, I'll definitely watch again. I would say all around normal scores. I really like the audio. The screenplay was pretty ingenious, I would say, and the writing that surrounds actually setting up the scenes, terrific. And you could tell that there was camaraderie there from like the cast. Like they clearly knew each other. It felt like it was like this whole group of homies. Um, but I gave it an 89.55. This is probably higher than I should have given it, to be honest.
I don't think so. I think
But still,
that's
it's
solid.
I have a hard time giving movies like this to that high of a score. But I was like, it's pretty spectacular in this venue, I would say.
I think it's an all time comedy, all time zombie flick. Like if you put like a top 10 zombie films on a list, like this would rank pretty high on there just
Oh yeah, for
for
sure.
how great it is. I thought this is one of the best screenplays like that you can get out of this kind of film.
Yeah,
So funny,
yeah.
so witty, so entertaining. 91.8 for me.
Yeah, and that's good. Tarantino actually said from 1992 until he watched this, he was like, "This is a top 20 movie in that time period, 92 to 2004." I was like, "That's impressive considering the fact that what that includes. You know, that's very impressive." But um, he eventually said zombie movies were done, and then he watched Train to Busan. But yeah, fun times. And I know we say this every single week, but we actually have started working on our new branding and a new website, or I should just say a website. Thank you, Alexa. But it should be done by definitely by the time this gets dropped. So please check out our new website. It's excellent
Yeah.
at
Subscribe to all of
sceneweekly.com.
our sceneweekly.com. Subscribe to all of our channels. What do we got coming up? I think we have a guest joining us soon.
We do have a guest. Next week's episode is going to be back. Are you going to actually keep all your decorations for next week?
Oh, it's just this. I mean, it's October, man. Like you don't even. There's even more coming out.
So we have got Mr. Andrew coming back on the podcast, and he is pretty much going to give us a premiere pilgrimage to some extent. And we have two powerhouses of slasher flicks that are Halloween focused. It's going to be with Halloween versus Friday the 13th Part 2. So I am basically done with both movies and am ready to attack Andrew with everything imaginable. And I want to put him into a corner where he has to explain himself, which I think is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't watched these movies. I keep putting it off.
They're both
And
brand new for you? Both?
both. Both.
Boy, do you have
Like I
it.
said, man, I'm not a
Do you
horror
have
guy.
You have it coming to you. Good luck. Good luck.
All right. Well,
But that's it.
till next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.